Hello, everyone. I'm Miriam Nealon, and with me today is.
Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Richter, and I'm with the Tyagi Group. Where are you from, Mary?
Well, I'm with Novartis, but I always make a disclaimer that I'm here as myself and not representing my organization.
Wonderful. And we also have a third facilitator for this program. Could you introduce him as well?
Yes, although I do think everybody knows him, but his name is Paul Kirschner. He is a professor emeritus in educational psychology. He's written a lot of books and a lot of research articles. Sorry.
A lot of books and a lot of articles.
A lot of books and a lot of articles. And he's my blog partner and the co-author of our book, Evidence-Informed Learning Design. He is going to come along with us during this course. So he will come along with us on this course. He has recorded a video for us on how people learn, and he's also provided us access to a great chapter of his book, How Learning Happens. And he will be partnering with us to do a Q&A so that you can ask him all the questions that you have further along.
Great, excellent. Now, Miriam, we probably should confirm, because some folks might be here for our basic neurophysiology workshop. This is
which is also great.
Yeah, it is a very good course, but not actually in the conference. This workshop is called Complex Learning Initiatives Across Organizations. But I think we need to define our terms. So, Miriam, what do we mean by complex learning? What's the definition of complex learning?
So I'll try to keep it simple, but complex learning is about complex skills, and that means that there's multiple constituent skills involved, which are then more than the sum of its parts. So you can kind of compare it with like organs in a human body. We all have multiple organs, and you could call them sub-organs, but that wouldn't really be right, because they need to coordinate with each other to make your body work well. So it's the same with constituent skills. They need to be coordinated to enable the complex skills. So, for example, real quick example is when you drive a car. That's a complex skill because there's multiple constituent skills that have to be coordinated, such as steering the wheel, using your mirrors, maybe chatting with the passengers, and then monitoring traffic all at the same time. And then one other part I want to call, I'm not fully correct with my definition here, but that's fine, because we'll get into more details later. But I think another piece to understand for now is that complex skills always have integrated knowledge, skills, and attitude. So you always need some domain knowledge, you need some skills that enable the complex skill, and some attitudes. So for example, with driving, you could say a willingness to drive safely.
Wonderful. And because complex skills are complex in of themselves, we also have to think about some of the contexts that people are in. So the more complex we are building a learning intervention, the more complex also are the politics, the logistics. We have to deal with stakeholder management. There are all these things we have to deal with that have nothing to do with the actual learning, but have everything to do with the execution of the learning. And those political and stakeholder facets have to be dealt with from pre-program, so from intake all the way through the post-program execution. So we have to deal with all sorts of things in association with how we deal with the design and the execution of learning in of itself.
Yeah, so there's a lot to figure out, right? So over the 6 weeks, we'll focus on 3 big areas. One is how to scope and intake a learning initiative, determining whether the issue at hand is even requires learning. And then once determined that it is a learning problem, how to figure out what to design, how to design it, and how do we then execute. And third, of course, all, across the board, as we go, like we always have to manage our stakeholders, their expectations and other logistical and political considerations, what I call the fun stuff.
And the program's broken into 6 weeks. So in weeks 1 and 2, we're going to really dive into what we mean by complex learning. We'll share with you several concepts that define complex learning and what's required when taking on that large-scale topic and breaking it down into teachable segments. We'll also explore how to intake a request from stakeholders, validating that request as a learning problem, and identifying whether the actual problem and the learning intervention actually marry together. Do they align together? Are we solving the right problem with the right solution?
Right, because getting off to a good start is really important. And with week 3, we really delve into the needs analysis. So how do you conduct like a proper task analysis and conduct user research to best target your intervention?
Week 4, we're going to explore specific ways to design to ensure learners can not only transfer what they've learned, but also generalize what they've learned in their actual work content.
Yeah, and then week 5 is all about the mechanics of designing, developing, and executing your initiative.
And finally, in week 6, we put it all together with you. We'll answer any lingering questions, and we're going to send you on your way, but we give you a lifetime warranty. So it's our lifetime, though, not yours.
So there are 3 components to our course: asynchronous studies. We have videos, short articles, and activities where you practice what we shared with you. We'll introduce a case for you to work on as you explore all the different phases each week. So that case will come with us like throughout the 6 weeks. And you'll also use the asynchronous time to prepare for our live sessions. Now, obviously, if you're watching this video, you've already found Blinkit, so that's great. And that's the location for all the non-live asynchronous content.
Our live sessions, and we're going to have 4 of them, are an opportunity for you to ask questions, engage in the moment with each other, and even practice having different kinds of stakeholder conversations. And these are all going to take place on Zoom.
Yeah, and that's where Paul also will be involved at the very end. The third part is really also asynchronous, but we want to call it out because we'd like you to design a complex learning intervention. Now, we don't expect you to be all done by the end of the 6 weeks, but we hope that you get a bit done along the way, and then we can give you some feedback.
And so here's a graphic that's going to represent some of the concepts that we're going to cover, or at least the blocks that we're going to cover. So all complex learning interventions take 4 different components into consideration. They'll consider the learner's experience, how the learner engages with the content and the activities.
And then the learning design, the actual construction of teaching, knowledge and skill, and the activities, of course.
And then the logistics. As distasteful as this can seem sometimes, we have to think about the budget. We have to think about time, locations, even food.
And then, of course, the politics, the various agendas and the different needs that stakeholders, users, and even vendors and other providers have.
And we're going to put to use a fairly generic design process. You're probably familiar with it, or at least the components of it. But the key difference is we want to add in a more modern notion of concurrent evaluation. Now, we're not going to delve too deeply into this. If you're interested in diving into evaluation, go take Will's course. Will Thalheimer has a wonderful course on evaluation in the conference.
Fantastic, yeah. And we overlay the whole stakeholder management and politics aspects to design and delivery.
So dive into the program. You should have seen how to engage in Blinkit outside of this course, And there are other user videos in the conference platform as well. But if you do have questions on where or how to find anything, navigate the program, or anything in general, just reach out to us. Our contact info is in the chat.
And in the next session, we offer a deeper agenda and timeline for you to reference. See you over the coming weeks. Can't wait.
Take care, everyone.